Hello, it's Kenny. This is the first of 3 lessons on the Grade 5 technical requirements as stated by the Royal Conservatory of Music, okay? This is just going to be scales in this lesson, and I'll go on in other ones for triads and arpeggios. But there's some strange things the Royal Conservatory demands in this scale section. I'll explain why I think they're strange, all right? I'm going to be teaching some scales that are not required for a grade 5 exam if you were to take an exam. I don't think you are, but if you wanted to, you could, all right? But first of all, I'm going to play a very simple one. This is a very much of a review here. C major scale, okay? Just because the A minor ones are required. The C major one is not. But just for a really quick review, the C major scale is 1, 2, 3 in the right hand, and then pass the thumb under, and then pass the thumb under the 4th finger, and then pass the thumb under. And on the way down, you're passing the 3rd over, and the 4th over, and the 3rd over. And the left hand, pass the 3rd over, then the 4th over, 3rd over, and then thumb under, thumb under, thumb under. Okay, half of the scales you'll ever play have that same fingering. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and that's C major. Okay, it's just no sharps, no flats. That's why it's the first one ever taught. All right, but what is required in the scales here are the harmonics. A minor harmonic and A minor melodic, all right? I'll go into the harmonic one first, and you'll notice I've written this one in red, all right? And where the C major one was in black, anything I've written in red is required for the exams, all right? So not all of these that I will be teaching are required. Now, A minor harmonic is, all right, you have to go down 3 to find the relative minor. I always like to teach these so you know what's related to each other. But you raise the 7th note in the harmonic. The G being the 7th note, you raise it to a G sharp. Very simple. And the same in the left hand. Now in this grade, all scales are 2 octaves and all are hands together, all right? So if you're not quite confident to play them together, keep practicing them separately. But just try to get them together and go very slow, methodical. Okay, and also the melodic is here, all right? It's almost the same, except on the way up, the 6th and the 7th notes are sharp. And on the way down, it's what's known as a natural minor. It's the same key signature as the C. No sharps and no flats. So on the way up, F and G are sharp. And on the way down, none of them are sharp. Okay, I find that a little strange that they've introduced A minor, and probably, I put the C in myself just for the fun of it. But A minor, it was taught quite a few grades ago, but they just seem to think, okay, let's review it, do it with 2 hands. Okay, on to the next bunch. Now, on to the next bunch, this is G major and its relative minors to E minor scales. This is almost identical to the C major one, all right, except G major has 1 sharp, F, all right? So same fingering. This is also not required, as I show with the title being in black, but just, it's very simple. Absolutely the same as the C scale, except it's got that 1 sharp, all right? And its relative minor, here we go. We get the E minor, so it has the same key signature. That's why they're related, all right? But it is E minor. You find the relative minor again by going down 3 semitones, all right? And the E minor harmonic has a raised 7th, so not the D natural, but the D sharp. You raise it. That's not in the key signature. It's always added. But same fingering again. minor melodic, almost the same, but on the way up, you have C sharp and D sharp, and on the way down, D natural and C natural, okay? It's a bit trickier, not too much tricky. You just gotta remember they're different going up than coming down, all right? And that's the G major and its relative minors. Now those were a bunch pretty much review, but this is a new one here coming up, E major. And this gets a little more tricky. It's got 4 sharps, as you can see, F, C, G, and D, all right? But it's not all that hard, all right? E major, same fingering, all right? Okay, that's not all that tricky. Now the next bunch is not required, the C sharp minors, all right? They're the relative of E, you go down those minor thirds, but you get to a C sharp, all right? And as always, I don't like to start playing a scale on the thumb on a black note because it just makes it really awkward for the passing. So in this case, you want to start on the second generally. And then this is the raised note here. It's at B sharp, as it says in the key signature there. In the left hand, I like to start on the third. Okay, so it comes, practice this one really slowly. You don't even have to do this one at all, but just try it really slowly because it is an awkward fingering. Alright, and on the melodic end of this one, also not required, alright, you got an A sharp and a B sharp. Okay, and on the way down, the B and the A are natural. Again, you don't have to practice this one. It is optional. It's just I like to include it, all the related scales, the E major and its relative minors, all right? And C sharp is a lovely key to play in once you get used to it. It is awkward, but left hand, and do these ones separately because it is an awkward scale. Okay, made a couple mistakes in there, and you're going to make mistakes, but just keep practicing. It's better to keep going rather than stop cold. If you're in an exam, just continue on, and they will appreciate that much, much more than if you just stop and start all over again. All right, it means you're pushing on. Okay, now the next bunch, I kind of put this in reverse. I should have done this before. E, because it's got only 3 sharps, but it's A. It's kind of review, but they require it again. All right, hands together. A major has just the 3 sharps, standard fingering. Quite simple. Now, the relative minors of this are tricky just for the same reason the C sharp minors were. They start on the F sharp. All right, so on the way up, you have this E sharp, that's your raised 7th. The left hand, don't start on the 3rd. You want to start on the 4th, because if you start on the 3rd, you're going to pass over the 4th, and that's really ugly, all right? You want to start this one on the 4th. It makes it a lot easier. Now, these are tricky scales. Don't push them too hard. Just ignore them if you completely want, but go very slowly. And the melodic, almost the same here, but as always, you got an extra sharp, all right? This time it's the D sharp and the E sharp. So on the way up, okay, same in the left hand, it's the same fingering I taught you just for the harmonic. And then on the way down, it's just the A major scale. starting on F sharp, okay? But go very slowly. Quite tricky, but when you get used to it, it just becomes second nature. Strangely enough, the Royal Conservatory decided to put the F major and D minor scales. These were already covered in previous grades. All right, maybe they just want you to review, because F major has a little bit of a difference in fingering. You don't pass your third under there, okay? That's that awkward thing. You pass the thumb under the fourth. All right? Just slightly different than the C scale. In the left hand, it's exactly the same as standard fingering. All right, this is quite simple. Only one flat, not too hard at all. Okay, and its relative minors? Guess what they are? D minors, all right? These were already covered too. Down those three semitones, all right? So, and then raised seventh, that C sharp. There's always a big stretch between that sixth and the seventh in the harmonic one. It can make it a little tricky, all right? But standard fingering on both hands. So this is the D minor harmonic. And the other one there, D minor melodic, again, you just want to raise the sixth and seventh. All right, so there's a B natural instead of a B flat. And on the way down, a C natural and a B flat, okay? It's completely opposite, but that's okay. That's what happens in the melodic, so there you go. Those were pretty much review scales, all right? But the next one is not. It's a completely new scale. Now, the A flat major scale is another tricky one. It starts on an A flat, and it's got four flats in the key signatures. You can see B, E, A, and D flats, all right? Four flats. But it's the exact same fingering I used for those C sharp minors and F sharp minors, all right? Starting on the second finger. Left hand start on the third finger. Okay, so when you put it all together, do it very slowly. It's a lot of sharps. I mean, a lot of flats, a lot of black notes, but it still is not that hard. Okay, and its relative minors are actually quite simple, all right? This first one, F minor harmonic. These are all in red, so these are required for the exams, all right? F minor harmonic, of course, it just means it's the four flats, but we raise that E there, the seventh note. It's the E natural. All right, and it is the same fingering as the F major scale, which we just covered, all right? You pass your thumb under the fourth. But in the left hand, it is just standard fingering. When you put it all together, do it slow. Okay, and when you do the melodic, again, it's not that much trickier. Try to fit that in there somehow. It's almost there. You'll figure it out. Okay, F minor melodic, it raises the sixth and seventh. So you get E and a D natural coming up. And on the way down, it's E flat and D flat, just like the key signature in the left hand. Now you put it all together. that's basically all the major and minor scales that are required. It seems like an awful lot, but it gets more and more as you get more and more. I sometimes, just for exercise purposes, I'll play all 12 major scales, 4 octaves, not just 2. Just all 12 majors, all 12 minors, just for the heck of it, all right? Because that's what's required in the late grades, which we're not even getting close to, all right? But right now, those are the major and minor ones. But we're not quite done. We have our formula patterns and chromatics to go yet. Now, these formula patterns are really quite crazy as always, all right? Now, just for a review, okay, I've taught them in previous lessons. Go back to grade 3 or grade 4. I've taught those there. But they're opposite hands. Your hands are doing different things sometimes. Best way to do it, okay, you can use the sheet music, which I always supply. You can find the sheet music below me in the comments section and print it out. But you're just going in different directions, okay? The right hand, this is in A major, by the way. I should have mentioned that, but you probably figured that out by now. All right, they want you the A major and A minor formula patterns, which are kind of weird. But anyway, the right hand, it just goes up 2 octaves, then comes down, and then goes up another one, and then it starts coming down again. The best thing to do, it'll just get natural to you the more you practice these. It's really hard to explain them, it gets confusing, but they're going different directions after a while. Starts the same, and then opposite. Now right hand's going down and left hand's coming up. Now both are going up, going down, then opposite, and then both coming down right to the end. All right, that was a major formula pattern. A minor harmonic is absolutely the same thing, except you're playing a harmonic minor thing, which only has the 1 sharp, so it's actually quite easy. Onto the A minor melodic. No, there doesn't exist because it sounds really hard. I mean, it sounds really ugly, actually, because remember the melodic scales? You change the notes coming down. So if you try to play A minor melodic in formula pattern, it's okay at first. It just sounds really ugly. It just doesn't work because sometimes you're playing 2 different notes at the same time and you don't want to do that. So just do the A minor harmonic. Now the chromatics, they want to be starting on A and starting on F. And what I mean by starting on it is because the chromatic scale has absolutely every note, all the sharps and the flats. Right, starting on A. So I've written it with an A major key signature. You don't have to do that. I could have just wrote no key signature at all and just put all sharps and flats, all right? Just remember, it's just every note. And as I like to teach these, all right, just use the 3rd finger on the black notes. Same in the left hand. 3rd finger on the black notes and use the 2nd and 1st. You don't even need the 4th and 5th. You can get rid of those altogether, all right? All right, it's just everything. And they only require 1 octave on this, not 2. So you just go very slowly. That's it. That's a chromatic. It just is really nice. Okay, it sounds a little bit weird, but it's just another exercise. All right, and finally, last and not least, the last scale of the day. Yes, I will leave it all alone after that. F chromatic. It's the exact same thing, but it starts on F. And then together. That was F chromatic, and that's all the scales. I know they can be boring and long, but it's so good to get. They're good exercise for the fingers, and they're good for your ear to get to know the keys. All right, the next lesson I'll go on to triads, which is another bunch of technical exercises, but I think they're a little bit easier, but that's enough for today. Thank you.